Hello, and thank you for tuning in. Dawn Moore is on a much-needed vacation this week, and as you can see, she was really ready to get on the plane. So for this week's Tip of the Week, we're bringing back one of our most popular videos. Why is the timing of the final walkthrough before closing so important? Enjoy the video, and Dawn will return next week.
Today's video is just a reminder of best practices. It is prudent practice to have your buyer do a final walkthrough of the home they are about to buy as close to the closing date as possible. You would never think of driving a new car off the lot unless you did one more check. The importance of walkthroughs and the timing of the walkthroughs has been highlighted this spring. Texas has experienced particularly severe weather. Tornadoes, damaging winds, hail, flooding, you name it. Many properties have been damaged. It is important to address the damage before you close. The seller has the contractual obligation to transfer possession of the property to the buyer in its current condition at the time of contracting, with agreed upon repairs, ordinary wear and tear accepted. However, after closing occurs, buyer's only recourse to force an unwilling seller to fulfill his obligation for damages and repair is to sue the seller. Buyer has much more leverage to force seller's performance before closing. Timing of the walkthrough is important. A walkthrough done several days before closing will be inadequate to discover damage from a storm that occurs the night before closing. This is a true story. A buyer's agent called me shortly after his buyer had closed on a property. The seller had closed a few days earlier and had already moved. When the buyer went to the house after his Friday morning closing, a tree was leaning against the roof. A storm had blown through the area the Wednesday night before. Buyer had done his walkthrough, but that had been done a week early. The sad thing was that the buyer's agent lived in the same area as the house his clients were buying, was well aware of the storm, and had failed to check the property before closing. The agent was worried that his buyer would look to him for any damages the seller failed to fix. Fortunately, in this particular circumstance, the seller finally did agree to make the repairs necessary, but not before a great deal of angst on the part of the buyer and his agent. Please be sure your buyers do walkthroughs before closing and on a timely basis. Hopefully, you make use of this advice to better service your customer. In turn, Allegiance Title asks for your support. We want to be your go-to for your closings. Allegiance Title is your resource for results. Thank you.